In this video we will show you how with the Form Builder, you can create a totally customized forms or templates in no time with ready-to-add form fields. Everything from basic components such as name, email, phone number to mailing address or file containers and so much more. Start by clicking on the Create button. Let's assume the form we will create requires entering the details of the hospital and the doctor and also uploading the medical report. We will start by naming the form. We will call it Medical Flight Report. You can select the entity to which this form belongs or you simply can keep it empty. We will select the concerned department, in this case it's Flight Safety Department. When selected, the approval of this department on this form will be required when modifying an item or processing any application. Now, we will select the form type. Form allows you to create a single page form, whereas Wizard allows you to create a multi-step form. In most cases, a single page form is what we need. Therefore, we will select Form. Select this checkbox if the approval of this form is required for the approval process of the permit application. Adding description is optional, therefore we will skip this step for now. Let's go down the list of components to create a form that should be submitted by the applicant when applying for a medical landing permit. All the field components are located along the left-hand side of your screen, as you can see here. Let's start by adding a field where the applicant can enter the name of the hospital. We will drag a text field component from the basic component list. A window will appear where we can configure the component settings. We will enter the title of this field under Label. We will name this field Hospital Name. You can choose where you want the title of the field to show, for example on the left side of the field or at the top. And then enter the placeholder. Now, we will go to the Validation tab and check the box, Required. This will require the field to have value input before the form can be submitted by the applicant. You can see the preview of this new field here. Now, we will click Save to add this field to the form. Let's add another field and call it Hospital Address. As instructed previously, we will drag another text field. We will enter the title. We will keep the position of the label at the top. Now we will enter the placeholder. Go the Validation tab to set this field as required. And save. To gather more information about the patient or the hospital, for example if we would like to know whether the patient is admitted to the hospital or not, we can add a list of questionnaires by dragging the Survey component from the Advanced Component list. This component allows us to add multiple questions and answers to the form. We will name this field Hospital Admission. We will go to Data tab and enter a question, for example, is the patient granted admission to the hospital? And then we will add the answers that can be selected by the applicant. We will set this component as required. You can always preview the component here. Now, add the field to the form by saving it. Let's add another text field from the basic component list, where the applicant can enter the name of the doctor. We will enter a placeholder. We want it to be mandatory, therefore we will check the box Required. And save. From the Advanced Component list, we will drag the component, Phone Number, where the applicant can enter doctor's phone number. We will enter the placeholder. We want to make this component required, so we will set it as required, and add this component to the form. Now, we will add a file upload component that allows the applicant to include the medical report in this form. Let's drag the file component from the Premium component list. We will name this field Medical Report. If the title of your field could use a longer explanation, enter a description that will appear to the applicant at the bottom of this component as you can see here. Or enter the desired message in the tooltip. The message will appear to the applicant once the help icon showing next to the title is clicked. Both options are available for all type of fields. In this case, we will remove the tooltip message and keep the description. Now, we will go to the File tab to set the maximum acceptable file size. In this case it can be no larger than 5 megabytes. If a user tries uploading larger files, they will be presented with a generic message and won't be able to submit the form. We will set this file component as required and save. Finally, we will add a text box where the user can send a message to the CAA. Drag the text area from basic component list. We will enter the title and specify the number of rows that will be visible without using the scroll bar. To avoid long paragraphs, we will go to Validation tab, specify the maximum amount of words that can be added to this field and save. Now, since we already have a Submit button, we will add a Reset button that resets the form. Therefore, we will add the button component from basic component list. There are 7 functionalities when it comes to buttons. Style-wise they are all identical. The only difference is the role of the button and the color that can be selected based on the importance. We want this button to reset the form when clicked. We want it to be red to make sure the user won't unintentionally clear away all the data entered into the form and start over. Therefore we will select Danger as the theme of this button. You can set the size of the button here and save. Now that we have completed the form, let's talk about how we can rearrange the fields on this form. All we need to do is grab and hold the move icon or the form itself and drag it into the place where we want it, and that field will automatically shift other fields out of the way to make a room for it. Then we can drop it there by letting go of the mouse. To edit a field component, hover on the component and click on Edit icon. The same window that appeared when adding the component will appear again where you can modify the component settings. To copy a component, you can click on the copy icon and the paste icon to add it below. To remove a component from the form, click the Remove icon. Now that we have defined all the fields, we can save it either as a form or as a template. If you think the form you have created can be used as a template to generate other forms later on, you can save it as a template. If not, you can simply save it as a form. In this case we will go ahead and save it as a form. This table displays the forms by default and can be filtered either by name, by entity, by department, or whether approval of the form is required or not. We will filter by entering the name of the form we have created. Here is the form we just created. In case you saved the form you have created as a template, you can go to Templates and click the Create Form button to generate a form based on this template. Keep in mind that only forms will appear in item creation, whereas template won't. Thank you for watching.